you know, the worst is when you cross that line where you have already planned out, you know, how it would happen, what you would do to get out of that situation and get out of, you know, how you feel. And it's the worst possible thing you can decide to do. But when you reach that point and, you know, you see that knife, or you see whatever it is you're going to do, like that's rock bottom.
So the toughest time of my life probably would have been when coming out of the closet to like family and friends, battling a drug addiction and being involved in a domestic violence relationship.
Yeah, didn't have the best childhood. Probably my earliest memory is being knocked out by somebody that should have, cared about me.
I always desired, to break up, to have our family sort of break up and just have that sort of triangle, which is my mum, my sister and I.
Essentially, my mother left my father. I sided with my father, felt sorry for my father.
Had a lot of bad luck. Nothing major, just wore down a lot of my positivity. And it sort of all culminated with my uncle getting very ill.
I don't think it's actually been one toughest time that I've been through. It's always been something in my life that has, reared its ugly head kind of over and over.
I met a woman and he found me, I guess, kind of in the way of that new relationship.
So I was constantly going back and forth between uni to the hospital, uni to the hospital, trying to be strong and support my mum. And unfortunately there was complications with the surgery and my uncle went into a coma for 2 weeks and passed away.
I didn't have a job, I didn't have job prospects. I wasn't really doing anything, I wasn't making anything. And that just led to sort of like a feeling of worthlessness, feelings of sort of aggression, frustration, anxiety, and ultimately just depression. It
has an attachment to it. People don't like saying depression, people don't like talking about depression, but pure and simple, it was depression.
I guess I really struggled with trying to understand who I was, why I was going through what I was going through, and why it was so hard to be accepted by others.
We made that decision to call the police and decided to put an end to it and realised that it wasn't right.
For a long time, I was very angry. I didn't really enjoy life. I didn't really, do anything that I really cared about. I thought I did. I thought I was fine, but I was pretending really.
Made me feel like I wasn't worthwhile, that I didn't want to be around anymore, that life wasn't worth living.
I had feelings of anxiety. I had problems with some of my friends in dealing with them or interacting with them socially. I lost energy, problems sleeping, that sort of thing.
And I think easiest way of explaining it is it's just that you're constantly unhappy. You no longer feel happy. You don't remember what it's like to, not worry about things or not, dwell on things. And, it gets to a point where the only thing you can think about is how to get out of that.
I guess that the point where I realised something needed to change would have been when I took an attempt on my own life. And then was tracked down by this partner that I'd been with and was beaten pretty badly.
And as we were walking out of the hospital, walking back to where my family was staying, I just sort of collapsed on a park bench with my girlfriend and I just wept. I just wept for 5 minutes. There was just nothing I could do, just uncontrollably wept.
What helped was talking about it. And nobody wants to. Nobody wants to talk about it.
That was really instrumental in overcoming my circumstances.
Reaching out for help the first time, that's the biggest step.
Probably one of the biggest struggles that I'd had.
I struggled to I talked about my situation at first.
You know, if you can talk about a problem and fix it, that's so much more powerful.
And it can be hard, and it certainly isn't easy.
The relief you get after doing that is unbelievable.
As I was sharing my story, I sort of became in touch with people who were experiencing a bit more tough times than I was.
If I hadn't told anyone, I would have been stuck there and internalised it and battled with myself until today.
Let your feelings show. If you just keep your feelings bottled up, then you'll never make it.
It's like wood rot, inside of you. It just gets to you over and over again.
Each time I started talking about it, made it so much easier.
It makes you feel like the control starts coming back. You are proactively taking those steps.
I just suddenly felt all the pressures come off me.
And then it's like planning a course for some level of recovery. Like that is so easy. And you think, why didn't I do this years ago?
As hard as it may seem to talk to someone, you really need to soften the fuck up.
You need to be able to share with those around you. Being strong doesn't mean you hide your feelings, it means you are able to show them and deal with them.
People think that being a tough bloke, means that, you're impervious to harm, you can't be hurt by anything.
To be strong, you don't necessarily have to have the strong face all the time.
Tough guy is a guy who can admit that he has a problem, admit that, he is depressed, he's got a problem he's talked to about and fix it.
You need to change what you have been indoctrinated to believe is right. And
nothing says you can't be a man and you can't ask for help.
You have to let your emotions come through sometimes to get through it all.
At the end of the day, when I've come through it all, I realise that there's nothing better than living a happy, positive life and being the person you are. You can't really change that, and I'm happy I've got to that stage where I am happy with who I am today.
I think people worry about it not getting easier, and it does.